Welcome everybody to another episode of the SPS DAOn Hall. I will be your host Claiborne. Today I'm joined by the team from Double Coconut. We've got David Fox here, the CEO. And how, how would- how would you like me to say your name? I know like everybody knows you as Arhov in
It,
Discord.
it's Arus.
Arus.
In
Okay.
short, it's just Arus. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Just wanted to make sure. I'll try not to butcher it. So we got Arus and we've got David here. Double Coconut. We're gonna touch base on. I'm gonna share some of the community concerns that I've been getting, just in general regarding some of the stuff going on with Soulkeep. And I know you guys probably want to share some of the stuff that's upcoming and going on. So, just I guess like what's going on your end right now?
Yeah, so I'll jump in. Arus can add more detail. So let's separate it into two buckets. One is like maintenance and issues, which Arus can talk more about. We have a big one coming out this week in terms of an SPS reward disconnect between what we thought, the way we thought the pool worked and the way the pool actually worked. We were a little behind on some of the SPS, so we paused the tournaments for a few days to catch up. That's all fixed now, and the SPS distributions will be back tomorrow. Is that right, Arus? Oh, and
Yes, tomorrow. So the upcoming one in 11 or 10 hours or so, the new tournament that will start, it will have the rewards.
yep, yeah. So I guess Friday U.S. time, and yeah. So we apologize for that. That kind of caught everyone by surprise, including the Splinterlands folks. But we'll be back on schedule with proper rewards there. Um, Feature-wise too, Arus, do you want to talk about the kind of the next big feature coming out, which I think may, or we hope will address some of the issues with the slowness of moving through leagues, which is Soulbox. You, yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully in upcoming several days, because we are like truly in a final bug fixing and testing phase and finalizing balancing the numbers, we will deploy the Soul Box shop. We promise to deploy it much earlier, but what happened, I was listening to the comments and suggestions on how it should work and on the fact that it will be just buy your way out if you have a lot of DC. That's why we postponed it, but meanwhile we made some important changes to have some restrictions on the amounts that can be bought. So we will be deploying, not unlimited purchases per day, yes, so the amount of the boxes to be purchased will be limited per day. It will differ per league, obviously, because higher leagues will need more soul boxes and it's accounted for. So this is the next big one coming, and I know that a lot of folks are waiting for this feature to be able to move to higher leagues, the ones who have passed all the gateway levels and are just missing some last souls to collect.
Yeah, and I think, and sorry, just one last very major thing going on, which will also come out along with the soul boxes, is new thresholds for the various leagues and how many souls are there. We know that things kind of got really out of balance from what we wanted, and that's kind of the way that's the way games as service sometimes happens. And not to not to make light of it, but we want to get to the point where everyone can catch up, who puts in the effort and puts in the time, right? So everybody can catch up. So there'll be a significant amount of competitors in each league, including League Nine, which now obviously is I believe only has one person in it. So that was through some bugs and I wouldn't even call them bugs, but exploits that very smart folks figured out, and kudos to them. And but we don't want leagues to be manned by one person or two people alone. That's not fun. We need to get a bunch of competitors there. Um, so there'll be also some business news to talk about regarding that and getting more people into the game. But that's probably enough for now, Clay. Um,
Okay. You want me to
but
just to jump into some of the questions we've been getting from the community?
let's do it. It's an AMA after all, so we'll shut
Okay.
up and just answer. Yeah.
Let's see. So first one looks like it's coming from so Discord apparently. Let me see. Okay, so Intrepid Surfer Hello, David. What is your long-term vision for Soulkeep, and what key developments or initiatives are currently underway to bring that vision to life?
Yeah, so a lot of little things. The biggest thing is getting more people, more revenue into the game, because more people, more revenue means we could have bigger reward pools. We can have more players competing for those reward pools. We could create more leagues, and we could add more features. So ultimately, it has to be a marketing discovery issue. So we have a lot of discussions with various parties that are going to be potentially launching the game and much wider audiences and much more mass market audiences. That's really our vision and goal. I don't unfortunately have any specific announcements there, only to tease that I'm very bullish that stuff is coming. That'll bring a lot more people into the game to try it out. Um, uh, you know, one thing I could say we are looking at also, and which is kind of exciting in general, is platforms like Telegram. Discord just announced and they're opening their platform. So those are very, very interesting to us as potential platforms to launch the game on and engage with a much wider audience. The challenge, just to be very frank and transparent, is a lot of the Hive specific wallet stuff does not necessarily play nice with those platforms. So we have to figure that out.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so you guys are actually looking into potentially like taking Soulkeep into newer platforms to kind of like expand access. That's actually really awesome to hear. Let's see, we got one from Cloverfield. Uh, do you guys have any information on how much deck has been burned so far?
Yeah, Aris, you want to take?
So we have started the DC burning process on July 29th. And so far we have burned almost 1 million DC. It's 951,000 something, which is 50% from each of the DC based purchases.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and considering it's still like a pretty small user base, it's not like a bad number. It should scale up. Let's
Yeah.
see. Are Are you aware, and are you going to fix the exploit which a person can rent cards? Okay, so that's already taken care of. Like, I can just skip that one because I know you guys took care of that at the end of the week. Let's
Yep.
see. Here's one that was about the new requirements, which sounds like you were just talking about moving to like League 8, 9. I They want to know, did you study the numbers of souls on accounts when making the changes? What was the purpose of the number of epic souls increased by 3 times? And are the players who, thanks to this change, will get into level 9 much earlier than others? So are you guys kind of like taking into account that some people were, like taking advantage of the epic farming, and they're going to basically kind of like controlling a league?
We are. That I was kind of alluding to that before. And I think we actually had some issues where long story short, we have souls we thought or fiends we thought were epic that are not, and I think that threw off some of our balancing. So the real numbers of coming in, we're rebalancing. That'll all be out very shortly. We are aware.
Yeah, we got a live question coming in from Hewitt. Let's see. Have you guys considered the option of adding like rewards cards to the game, similar to kind of like I guess how Splinterlands does it, where like you can play and like I guess like for playing there may be like a specific tower or something that you can only get through playing, or maybe like a hero. I know that's something that like I've seen a lot of people talk about, is like that it feels like the hero is kind of like a little bit too limited. So have you guys considered reward cards at all?
Yeah, short answer is considered, for sure. We actually have stuff in the roadmap, but it all stems from again getting the game to be in growth mode where we could start doing these fun new features. And until we get more folks in, see the revenue ramp up for everyone and more DC burned, we're not going to be able to do some of the more fun features. But yeah, keep the ideas coming, because and keep specifics coming, like in Discord too, because we, we things that like cosmetics are quote unquote easy to put in, or titles. So we can definitely add that stuff in if we think it's fun and there's enough demand and it's actually worthwhile. But we just don't want to throw in features for feature's sake unless they're kind of going to move the needle just from a business point of view.
How many people are working on the project?
Um, it's the same team. Roos, do you want to? I mean, we can. It does fluctuate to week, and obviously with art, and as we add new leagues and levels, the team's going to actually have to be expanded quite a lot, especially with art, especially for adding new fiends. But right now the team's about 7-8 people. Is that right, Doris?
Yes, depending on the load or if we're implementing a new feature or not. During the pure maintenance, it's a little bit less, like 4 or 5, but during big implementations, it's 7-8 people total
Yep.
team.
And that's like developers, like art teams, like your creative. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Okay, here's one that's like I've been getting a lot of questions about this, and I'll tell you, like, especially from the people that don't play Soul Keep. So like their only interest is like how does this add value to like Splinterlands and SPS. I'm getting a lot of people that are requesting SPS staking be implemented in some fashion. Now, I know previously you and I have had discussions about this, which is why we ended up making that previous proposal to implement deck burning. Um, but I also I can tell you like I get the concern, and this is something we dealt with Splinterlands. Is like whenever you can have any kind of system in place where people can try to extract value, what they're going to do is they're going to basically be min-maxing it. And one of the criticisms I've seen is with Soulkeep being so top-heavy, on the rewards, like what happens is you'll have like one guy that figures out how to, get to the top, and then he'll go like either tell his friends or, run other multiple accounts to just kind of like hog the top 10 reward spots. So, is that something you guys have been thinking about, like adding back in SPS staking, or have you thought about like maybe expanding the rewards out further so they're not so top heavy to kind of like maybe try to prevent some of this?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I'll tell you. I'll recap where we are now, and this doesn't mean this is where it's going to land. And again, like we do hope for more precise, not just discussions that are kind of vague in Discord, but open, real proposals if you feel like things are down the wrong path. But we believe that SPS staking is a bad user experience. It makes total sense, and I empathize with the tokenomics of it. It makes complete sense. It's just such a clunky user experience, especially as we want to try to engage a more mass market. So we believe by getting more people in, uh, a much more mass market amount of players, the DC will go up, the DC burning will go up, and that will be the ultimate uh, expression, or sorry, positive feedback loop for the Soulkeep ecosystem. That said, one idea that we're discussing, and we may or may not pull the trigger on this, is if we add new leagues, those higher level leagues, which will have higher level rewards, those might require SPS staking, right? So that way, that might solve the problem of onboarding for new players who are coming in. They don't have to deal with and understand SPS staking, but as you move through the leagues, if you really want to play with the big boys, you have to go through the hoops of staking your SPS. So that could be an interesting way to handle that. So, we haven't made a decision there, but be curious to hear what people think of that notion, if that kind of helps alleviate some of the concerns. And that's something we could definitely consider.
Yeah, I know like you and I had discussions about this. Like I don't know if everybody like understands this. This is something that like I tried to bring up originally, but like if we go way back, I guess it's probably been like 3 years now. Like I was actually one of the people that was originally talking with David, and I think it was Richard at the time. It was like the three of us that were kind of like trying to like early on plan out like what Soul Keep would be, and like I can tell you guys, like one of the original thoughts on the whole thing was like, how do we appeal more to like the Web2 gamers? Like, how do we get outside of the Splinterlands ecosystem? And I know that like I can tell you, I get a lot of criticism about like the token, and like my thing is like I try to explain too that it's like it's not that Soulkeep has a massive reward pool. It really doesn't. It's 1 million a month and it goes down by like the 1%. Which comparatively, I mean, we were giving 1 million a month to an Ethereum pool that was doing like $50,000 in volume for 2 years. So like whenever people talk about like we're giving away too much tokens, like I get their concern, but like my concern is I think like maybe we just need to find like a more efficient way, instead of like I said, with them being like so top heavy. I think that's where a lot of the criticism comes from is they feel like people are just exploiting it, and especially with like the situation that was going on with the like the cards not having the energy requirements. So I mean, I think you guys are making some moves in the right direction, and I do think like big picture, what you're saying makes a lot of sense, right? Like the way to add value back into the system is get a lot more players that can
Yep.
ultimately burn more deck. And I mean, like I'm assuming like whenever you're saying like getting into these other platforms, like there would be a more, I guess, like Web2 approach to where they can pay with other things, right? Like they don't have to be paying with cryptocurrency.
Yeah, all that exactly. Like, I mean, let's be direct. Like right now, the game as it stands as in kind of the world of successful mobile games or even Steam games, is minuscule, right? In terms of the amount of audience, the amount of revenue, the amount of reward. We want to build, expand on all of that. So we're very serious about that. This is, we've staked a lot of our energy and time and treasury as a company into this game. So that's the big vision. It's not going to happen overnight. Um, but but yeah, where we are today is just the beginning, very truly.
Do you guys have a stance on multi-accounting, and is it something you're willing to take a stance against? Mainly, like I said, like that's one of the biggest criticisms I get is they feel like there's a small group of players that are basically finding ways to manipulate the system to extract rewards, which is again something we dealt with in Splinterlands. We've had like multiple proposals and like battles over it. Splinterlands has gotten pretty decent at figuring out ways to like kind of like limit extraction exploits. Like I said, I know you guys are kind of like still in the infancy. I think of like Soulkeep as still like a brand new project. It's still getting like bug fixes. So like to me, like I think that there has to be like some growing pains. But yeah, I mean like that's a concern. Are you guys willing to take a stance against multi accounting or to try to I don't know if you want to like go so far as like IP restrictions or things like that because obviously there's ways around that. But is this something on your mind?
It is, yeah. I mean, our stand is we're against it and we're against botting. Yeah, and I think in our terms we don't allow botting, and if we see it, we will. We can risk losing all your accounts. Now that said, the arms race to do it is a significant effort, right? So we don't want to pretend like we can solve the problem with a finger snap. But yeah, we're against it. If we see instances of it, you risk losing your account.
So guys, there's a lot of questions. Like Thomas, he's kind of already answered yours. So if you want to go back in the video a little bit, you can find out what they're doing to advertise. Let me go back to the pre-sorted questions. Let's see. Okay, so here's a different concern. I have had some people that feel like communication is lacking. Um, I know Arus is actually not just like here to talk to people on Discord. Like I understand you're basically like the project manager for Soulkeep, right? So you have a lot of hats that you're wearing. I'm sure, kind of like what I deal with. Do you guys have like any plans to like I don't know maybe like get somebody that talks directly with the community or maybe like get like a direct Discord server where like people could talk to your team more closely? Is there any plans to I guess improve communication?
Yeah, I mean, we know we're lacking there. Again, it's a lot of this mea culpa type stuff in the answers here. But it again comes down to being able to grow the team and dedicate resources to that. And as soon as we can do that, we know that's a need. So yeah, Roos is doing a heroic job as it is, but it's we know it's not enough. We know, and I think someone asked about advertising. So it's not just about community and handling existing community. It's about building new community, about influencers. So we know there's a need there. We know how to do that, but we're just not at the stage now where at least we could put financial resources into doing that. So we're trying to do so with partnerships, and again, I hope we'll have some good news to announce soon along those fronts.
Let's see. Reward. Okay, yeah, this is another question about adding SPS staking. So we've kind of already touched on that. Like, I have a feeling some of these will probably be the same issues. Are there new cards in the works? And if so, do you have any kind of like release schedule? And I know somebody also was asking, like, if you move into new platforms or new partnerships, are you planning to release cards? So I guess that's a big question. Are more cards coming?
Yeah, nothing to announce now, but when we start opening up new leagues, there definitely will be some new fiends, some new cards, most likely a new promo hero card, and the way you get it might be different than the prior way. It'll have to be, right? Because there won't be pack sales, at least initially. So yeah, it's absolutely part of the plan, and um, part of launching on another platform might be some special differentiation for using that platform, which might be some special cards. Maybe,
Okay,
maybe not. Again, we can't announce anything yet.
okay, cool. So yeah, just hypothetically, like, so like, let's say like you're on like, I think is it called EO or something? Just like one of like the indie game platforms. Like, let's say you go on there, you might have like an exclusive card for signing up and playing through there or something like that. But nothing official. Just like that's kind of like where your mind's at right now. Not on pack sales, but like maybe how do you entice new players to come in with different like cards, incentives, stuff like that.
Yep, that's right. That's right. And and certainly a lot of the stuff I think alluding to before, cards that don't affect gameplay, and things like titles and things like cosmetics are probably more likely in the short term, just because they don't affect the rebalancing of the whole game, right? By adding a new tower, for example.
Yeah, if there's anything I've learned from our community, you could probably put a cat skin on every tower, and like somebody will buy it just for the cats. Let's see. Okay. Now this is one that like I know originally was something that was kind of like talked about, and I know that this is something a lot of people want. What about the endless mode with like the press your luck kind of mechanics, to where you can like, do you want to go to the next wave and like you know push your luck to get more rewards and possibly lose them? Is that still like on your mind? And I know like right now development's probably limited, like as we've kind of touched on, but like is that still like, I guess, on the roadmap in your mind or anything?
Yes and no. So we actually had that as in our initial launch like a year ago, and did a lot of play testing, and this consensus was it was a lot less fun than the current mode. So I definitely would like to continue the debate on that if folks feel strongly it could be more fun. I could see the earning potential being more interesting from a pure earning point of view, but from a gameplay fun point of view, which again is where we're focused because we want to grow the game, bring in more non-crypto players. Um, we feel that that's not the right approach.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I know that there's a lot of potential, and I think that's the thing. Like, getting new players, getting more money in solves a lot of the issues, right? Like, I mean, I could even like in my head imagine like big long term goals. If we're getting into like lofty area, maybe you have like an actual like soul keep like level design kind of situation where people can like run against like enemy teams, kind of PvP style. But again, I mean, we're talking like so far out there. You guys have to get like more people in. You have to get more funding, and
That's
I know everybody wants more. everybody always wants more. So it's like, I think that there's a lot of
Yeah, I mean,
options.
and just to touch on, I mean, this was years ago, and we talked about this in the roadmap, and it's there. We have very robust UGC tools that our own designers use to build levels. Um, we do want to put those out there at some point and find some cool mechanism where you can build your own levels and charge rent for people using them and have your own rewards and tournaments. So yeah, that's all out there. But yeah, again, we need to get the game in growth mode where it is now. And if there's something holding back that's the feature we're going to focus on.
Got it. Yeah, I know. Like you guys have been, focused on like a lot of bug fixes, and like now have to focus on like closing exploits. So, yeah, I do think it's good to be able to like show that the team is listening. They are taking care of things. Let's see. Okay, yeah, and again, this we kind of touched on this. Are there plans to flatten the SPS rewards so they're not so top heavy? Is that on your mind?
Yeah, I think we touched on it. I don't know if flattening that might be an approach as well. I think it's also about more democratizing the ability to get into the later leagues. For more folks.
Yeah, it's like
Anyone who has high level cards and has gone through and leveled up their cards should be able to get into those later leagues with a little bit of grinding, a little bit of spend.
yeah, this is something I can tell you. Like we definitely dealt with Splinterlands, is where you'd have especially like at scale with bot farms, you'd have like level 1 cards that are just basically minimum possible input to get the most possible output. And I
Yep.
think like again that's whenever people are saying like the top 10 thing feels too heavy. It seems like if you've got like one guy that can figure it out, and then they're using multiple accounts to figure it out, then it's basically just, do I want to pay like the 1050 deck or whatever to like push an account up there? And again, like even if you go down to like 25 or 50 places and try to like kind of like flatten out the rewards curve a bit, it still to some extent can do that, but I think it makes it harder and it makes it less profitable to just try to shoehorn a couple of accounts up to the top. So like I said, I think it's definitely something to consider at this point because it's something that I get a lot about, and I think that ties into a lot of the questions that we're getting here.
All
Uh,
right. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's also something we maybe can do too, because again, we acknowledge that we're out of whack now a little bit. So maybe until we adjust, flattening can be a good solution.
yeah, maybe like
So
even
yeah.
just like if it's like a temporary solution or something.
Yep. Yep.
Let's see. Are there plans for non-tournament mode for like so people can keep playing like after they level? I know that that's one of the things that like I saw people kind of like complaining about is it's like they don't like feel and like Splinterlands gets this too to some extent, but like people don't like feeling like they have a game that like they can't play as much as they want to. So do you guys see anything like maybe expanding either like the single player option or like maybe like even like a non-earning? Like is there some way to play more?
Yeah, and I think we touched on this in the last AMA. One of the directions that's interesting is to launch the game as like a pure Web 2 starting feel, right? Where it's just a pure tower defense game. You can go through, play a bunch of the levels, with the typical tower defense trope of like easy, difficult, and um, you know, crazy, insane mode or something. Get different stars, right? And just play through, have fun playing the game at that level, and then ease into the blockchain piece. We still believe in that also as a way to launch the game on Apple, on Google, um, even Steam potentially, where blockchain is not allowed. Start building the audience for the game and slowly siphoning the people that are interested in the collectibles and interested in the rewards. So, yeah, we love that approach, and I think that does come down to it being just a fun, normal tower defense game to play, which it sort of is now, but because we have so many limitations, it's you're very handcuffed as a player, and we get that.
I feel like a lot of these questions are just kind of like rehashing the same things we've been over, so I don't want to go through like every one of these. There, like this one, I don't even really see how it's a question. It's just like a paragraph long statement. Do you have plans on what to do when most players reach level 10? Right? Like, is there like an end game in mind?
There'll be new leagues is the hope, right? So again, as we enter growth mode, new leagues will keep coming.
Okay, so 10 isn't necessarily like a hard stop. Like it's just the current stop.
It's just a number. Yep.
Yeah. Okay,
But
that's cool.
new leagues requires a lot of, as we discussed before, a lot of content, a lot of new levels, a lot of new fiends, potentially new cards. We don't want to just have a league for league's sake. So yeah.
Do you like giraffes? I don't.
No, they creep me out.
Like apparently that's the
Uh,
only thing. Like like the rapper Eminem. Apparently, like giraffes are the only thing he's afraid of too. Let's see.
have you ever touched a giraffe, Claiborne?
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, like I've been having a lot more animal experiences since coming to Thailand. Man, they have
Oh
some
yeah.
really like it's weird. Like I've never been like a zoo person. Like I don't like the idea of like keeping like wild animals in captivity like that. But like the way they do it in Thailand is kind of interesting. Like they have like a lot of these like really big like almost like free range kind of like zoo type situations. Like they just had like a baby hippo that's like going viral. But yeah, like there's a lot of stuff where you can go like you can actually like swim with dolphins and stuff here. Like it's crazy. But yeah, like I don't know. I enjoy animals. Like I don't get a lot of time to go out and do stuff for just fun. But yeah, like giraffes, they're kind of weird. Like they're almost like a big deer to me. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Most people are probably like, "Why are you guys derailed talking about giraffes?" And all I'm gonna say is it's Sheen's fault.
I have no idea. Their tongues feel really weird. If you ever been
Oh
licked,
yeah, oh
their
yeah.
hands
They got like the
sandpaper.
long like yeah like the long like curly tongue. Yeah.
No, no,
Let's see.
they're pretty awesome. So yeah, we like giraffes. If someone's suggesting a giraffe like fiend in the game, maybe we'll go in that direction.
Yeah. Oh, that would be funny. Like some like cryptid, weird, like freaky giraffes with like spider legs or something. Let's see. Yeah. So like then now there's also people saying like I like playing two accounts, but I think that again probably ties into the I want to play more than like one account is like limited to. Like once you get up on the leaderboard, it's not like it just keeps costing more money to play.
Yeah, and to be clear, our terms of service are against botting. So yeah, I mean, if you have two legitimate accounts for family or something, that's understandable. So it's a case by case basis, and again, it comes down to having the team to enforce that.
So I know a lot of these questions have kind of been like a little bit critical so far, but I want to point out T-Day Joe says, "Hi, I just want to thank the developers of Soul Keep for all the work they do. Just wanted to say I really appreciate all the work they do. My question: Can Irving drop legendary souls again? Irving?
Yeah, yeah. There's a boss named Irving.
Oh, okay.
After a while, I think he's headless. Um, um, yeah, so we stopped that because of the former exploit. So probably not. Sorry. But,
Okay. Yeah, I guess I haven't made it that far. I've only got to like I think I got to like the second or third tier. Man, like I barely have time to play Splinterlands. Like most of the time, my energy sits on full. Like I wish I had more time to play. Here's a I guess like a business related question. Are you guys generating more deck now, or were you generating more when the prices were like really cheap? Like I guess before the burns were implemented.
um,
I need to check that, I think.
yeah, we'd have to check this. Yeah, I guess I can say right now that the deck we're generating, we're really glad to be burning stuff again per the proposal, and um, it's overall fairly minimal in terms of maintaining a team for this game. So again, this is early days. The soul boxes coming out will also generate some deck, um, but we're not trying to like maximize revenue and just like exploit the existing team. We want to give the existing players, right? We know the existing players need value for the cards they've already purchased. Um, the goal is to get a flywheel going that will work for a broader audience. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but that's really, really key in our mind.
Yeah, so and that was another comment someone I made. Like SPS has been moving up a bit. Like it looks like we're finally getting to a place where maybe we'll see SPS starting to kind of get into that flywheel zone again. I think I looked earlier. I want to say like deck was at like 80 to 85% of peg. So like it's moving. Let's see. Yeah, these are just comments. I'm trying to see if there's any. What is the current situation with tournament prizes? In theory, 132,000 SPS should already be back in the pool. Okay, so I guess this is talking about like why the pause for a few days. Will it go back up tomorrow? Alessandra, this was already answered in Discord. Yes, prizes should go back in like, what is it, like 7 hours now or something? Hours? For when I guess tournaments can earn again.
Yeah, it will be in 10 hours now,
Okay,
like
10
nine and a
hours.
half hours. It's midnight ET. The new tournament will begin, and by the end of that tournament, whoever played will get rewards again.
Okay, so not this current one, but the next one, Alessandra.
Next one, which is yes, which is starting. Current one will not have rewards. The one that will start will have rewards at the end.
Uh-oh.
Other than the reward and satisfaction of winning and being at the top of the leaderboard, which
Uh-oh. Well, David, I gotta tell you, Hewitt says like that's it, fire sale. He can't trust people that don't like giraffes. But if you make a giraffe tower, you
no,
can probably.
I noted that. I want to be very clear. I do like giraffes.
See, Hewitt.
Yeah, I was just being snarky, but yeah, I absolutely like giraffes.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, like Thomas, like this is I guess something that like I can probably take on. I'll tell you. I know that there's a lot of people that are critical about the current situation, and that's kind of like why we're having this open dialogue to figure out like how we can best handle the SPS distribution for Soulkeep. I know obviously like their team, like they've been saying, is like bigger picture. They want more players coming in, so we're burning more deck, and then it's less of a question about how much SPS is being given away. I've already shared my comments. I don't think it's a massive amount of SPS. I think the way it's being distributed makes it look bigger than it is, especially with it being so top heavy. So I do think that like if nothing else, like short term, uh, maybe stretching it out to like top 25, top 50 might make it more appealing just to get more people. That could even drive up participation for people wanting to get more tickets if they feel like there's more of a chance. Obviously, there could be potential for more exploits if people want to run more accounts through it. But I think some of this stuff is just growing pains that you guys are gonna kind of like have to figure out dealing with the Web3 economy. Like I don't know if you're gonna like let's say you're going into higher leagues. Do you need to have higher level cards? Like do you need to combine more cards? I think some of this stuff is going to be trial and error on your end. But yeah, just to answer that question, I don't necessarily think like changing the SPS rewards or like stopping them necessarily like solves stuff here. I know that there's some people that are kind of like pushing for that, but I think I would just like my personal recommendation to you, Dave, would be like I would consider adjusting how they're being distributed so it doesn't seem like it's so top heavy and so exploited by like a few people. Um, and yeah, I mean like it's complicated. It's always like a balancing act. I feel like we're going on 6 years, and Splinterlands has had tons of trial and error. It's complicated, man. Like if there's anything of value, there's going to be people out there that are looking for some way to take something out of it. what's the minimum I can put in to get the most out? And I mean, ultimately, I think we're on the same page. Like, the only way you can really ultimately combat this is you need a fun game that more people are playing than just looking to min max it. But yeah, you guys have any other thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I like what you're saying. Yeah, we'll definitely, we'll definitely think even deeper about the leveling out thing. I think that does make sense in the short term to at least alleviate the majority of people's problems, probably at the expense of upsetting a few other people, right? But that's always the balance.
So I had a question. When is the next one of these with you guys? Do you guys want to, like I know you said like there's limited funds for like getting, dedicated team members, like they're just hanging out in Discord. I literally do work for the DAO. Like, this is my full time job. So I guess probably more than a full time job most days. But yeah, I mean, like, is this something like you guys would want to do? Like, do you want to do like maybe even if it's like once a month? Do you guys want to have like these catch up calls to kind of like get some more direct comms with the community? Or
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I this is great, and I really appreciate you, Claymon, for coordinating it because like I said, we're heads down on the game itself. So yeah, whenever there's enough kind of questions built up, we could do it ad hoc. We could make it more formal. I think the last one we did was 2 months ago, maybe even 3 months ago. So once a quarter at the very least. But yeah, really, it's whenever there's enough stuff built up to talk about in a productive way. We want to be there to do it for sure.
okay, cool. Here's a question relating to the soul boxes. Will there be separate soul boxes for each rarity? I think it should be like that because players usually lack some specific souls and not all of them. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, in my mind, I was thinking like it would probably have some random nature to it, but like I don't know what you guys are thinking at all here. So, like, what are you thinking for the soul boxes?
I don't know. Rich, do you want to demo the soul boxes very quickly? I mean, I'm fine to demo it.
Yes,
I mean,
I can do it.
yeah, we've kind of I mean, to answer that concern, and we can get into why, but the boxes are much more grab bags. So every box will have all rarities in it. You're guaranteed at least one legendary per box. And then, you might get lucky and get a few more. And you're guaranteed minimum amounts of common, epic, etc. per box. Every day there'll be a random number of boxes, max boxes you can buy, and you can buy them all. You can buy one. So we're trying to make it a combination of whimsical, fun, and without someone just dropping a bunch of money and just grabbing all their souls at once. So yeah, we can show you what it's like, and please give feedback. This is the first iteration of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's see
I
it.
will share it.
We get some alpha guys. We get to see the soul boxes in action. So, David, just a quick question: have you guys thought about pricing on the soul boxes at all, or is it still like too early?
Yeah, we have the price. Everything all the numbers you see now, by the way, this is on QA, so these are not in any way final. So yeah, the prices at first are going to be the goal again is not to exploit the community and make a lot of money on the soul boxes. The goal is to kind of more level out, like we were talking about.
Okay,
The
Arus, can you turn the sound off?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I'm just trying. When I'm sharing, it's just turning on. I can't understand because my tab is muted. But as soon as I'm sharing, the tab it's just
yeah, I think
starting to.
the Google Meet ignored
Yeah,
this little bug. But I think you can turn it off the setting.
yes, I will do it from the settings.
But just quickly on the philosophy of soul boxes, we're traditionally free to play developers. We know loot boxes and the mechanics of that and how they work for free to play games. The real goal with soul boxes is as we not democratize, go to a more Web2 mass market audience. We think that's going to be a really key way that the game monetizes. So that's really the goal, just to kind of give you the philosophy of what what we're releasing.
Let's see.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, so here it is, the UI. These numbers are random, so because this is on test server at this moment. So for today, we have 16 soul boxes to purchase. Again, we can do it with credits or with DC. I will buy those. Okay, and for today, it's done. So next bunch will be for sale in 9 hours. It's reset every day. It doesn't depend on the user's purchase time, but just on daily basis at the same time. These purchases are reset. So let's open several. You can open all or several if you want. Yeah. And here are the souls.
Yeah, it's a pretty good opening. Yeah.
And here are the amount. So obviously, again, the numbers will be updated, but there will be guaranteed numbers which you will get, and then it will be random more than that for each of the soul box opened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So just give people an idea of what they're looking into now. So yeah, I think that'll be cool. I gotta clarify. Apparently, I didn't ask the question correctly. If SPS is rebalanced, won't this dissatisfy the players who spend the most in the game? So like that's, I guess that kind of ties into like what I'm saying about, instead of them being so top heavy with like only 10 people really getting like the big rewards. And I guess like in some ways this could kind of like tie in with the idea of the soul boxes. Are you guys concerned with like as people like hit that plateau, they're gonna have less incentive to spend? And I guess like in regards to possibly like flattening out the curve, are you concerned that people would be disincentivized to spend?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly the balance, right, that we're trying to strike. And not to mention, we don't want to be changing major aspects of the economy constantly, right? Because that's a moving target. It's not fair for players who are spending money leveling up their cards, spending time grinding. So yeah, that's why we try to tread lightly.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that like at this point, like some rebalancing with the SPS rewards is it's just gonna have to happen because there's way too
Yep.
many people that are pushing for it. So I mean, I don't know what the
Yep.
exact number is. I think you guys can look internally and figure out like where you think a good curve is. But it seems like in general most people feel like they're way too top heavy right now. And yeah, like I can kind of see it both ways. Like you want to incentivize people to go for the top. I think right now the issue is like what we've seen is you'll have like like one guy that can go figure it out, and then he can use multiple accounts to just run the same setup and basically hog all the rewards. So like that's problematic. I think there's going to be some learning curve to figuring this stuff out. And I think kind of like similar to something like Matt said before, right? Like just because like something's the way that like that it's been done doesn't mean you should be afraid to change things for the better. You got to be willing to try some different stuff out, and kind of like as you were saying, like no matter what you do, somebody's gonna get pissed off. It's just,
Yeah,
it,
yeah, it's we're like our own little Fed here, right? Our own little
yeah,
Jerome Powell. And every change you make is definitely upsets some people and pleases others. So yeah, it really is about balance. But ultimately, again, I'll be the transparent goal again is growth. So whatever leads to that is the most important thing.
so I guess tying back to the soul box thing, do you have any? I guess this would help the distribution too. But like, do you have any game plan in mind for like when to expand beyond like 10 leagues, right? Because like to touch on you don't want to disincentivize your top spenders either, right? Like the people that are pushing for the highest leagues, you don't want them to hit that plateau and be like, well, I have money to spend, but I have nothing to spend it on. So are you thinking like, is there like some time frame, like maybe like once a month or something, you want to open a new league if people are filling up the previous one? Or I mean, is there anything like this on your mind?
Yeah, on our mind, but we don't have a time frame to announce. We have levels, we have fiends, we actually have towers and cards that we've already built that are kind of waiting in the wings for that moment to put together in an organized, consolidated way. But we don't have a date to announce.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, it seems like I think we've pretty much addressed. Yeah, so guys, like some of you that are just joining are asking stuff that we've already been over, like how to onboard new players, like how to bring in new people. Like this is stuff that's been touched on at the beginning. So I would suggest just kind of going back, listening to the whole thing. I don't want to make them keep repeating themselves. Let's see. Scottish Prick, your question is like a one paragraph long statement with a question mark at the end. Like, I can read it if you really feel it's necessary, but it's also stuff we've already touched on. Is there going to be another way to play this game? We've already touched on that repeatedly. Um, there have been talks about balancing the SPS rewards from the higher leagues to lower. This would be detrimental to the players. Like we're literally in the middle of this conversation right now, so I don't know what you're saying. We're skipping here. Um, but yeah, like I mean, I'll tell you, like I've gone through all of these questions. I feel like we've answered them. If you guys feel like I'm literally missing something or not, get with me. I will try to reach out to David and Arus. Like I just don't want to keep them here all day. We're closing in on an hour, and I do think that we generally answered like everything that's been asked. Do you guys have any closing thoughts or anything you want to share before we wrap up?
No, just to thank you again, Laidwin, for this, and just not just this, but everything you've been doing along the way, and really thanking the players. Like I know the frustration sometimes reaches a peak. Hopefully, hopefully it will pay off as the game reaches a wider audience. Like anyone who's currently involved in it will reap the rewards, right? And that's kind of the whole idea from the beginning. And thank you for your patience. We know everything we do is pissing some percentage of you off. That's not ever the intention. It is about balance. It's about trying to keep the whole thing afloat and the whole thing fun, right? So fun is a hard thing to quantify, but the main goal for fun is to widen the audience for the game, and that's why we make games, and that's hopefully why you guys play them.
I mean, I think that's something that a lot of Web3, like a lot of games that move into the Web3 space, kind of like forget about the fun factor, right? Like at the end of the day, it's a game, right? Like if you're not coming here for entertainment value, if you're not enjoying it, then like it's gonna have a finite life cycle. It's gonna have an expiration date to where you feel like the juice is no longer worth the squeeze. Like it has to be a fun game. It has to be compelling to keep coming back and play. I think we touched on a lot of the current issues. I think we've got some future vision here of like what you think it can be. You guys have shared a little bit about you're looking into some partnerships to get the game listed on possibly different platforms. So I think we've got a pretty good general overview of the current situation. I think we answered a lot of the questions and criticisms that the community have thrown out there. So I mean, ultimately, people are gonna have to make up their own minds whether or not they're happy. And like I said, I'm willing to get you guys back on here whenever there's big updates or whenever people feel like we've got like enough questions gathered. If that's once a month or if that's once a quarter, whatever it is. But I'm willing to work try to help bridge the gap between the SPS community and the Soul Keep community. So just let me know if you guys need some help there. I will, I will try to consolidate questions and do these things so that we can get, direct community answers. Yeah, tech, like one
Cool.
last technical question. I guess we'll throw it out there to wrap things up. do you know when upgrading the rate of fire on the tower? So I guess this is like a technical bug. Maybe this is more for a ruse. Like apparently, when you upgrade the rate of fire on the tower, it resets the damage. Like I guess like if you upgrade damage first and then you upgrade the rate of fire, it lowers the damage back down. Is this something like you guys know about?
Actually, we had that ticket. We checked, tested, never found. And if I recall correctly, we asked the user to share if they face it again, like with the example gameplay time, date time. But and another thing is, I was wondering where they see that information that damage is reset, because it's not exposed in the gameplay. So in order that we know how to check in, that we checked the actual data of the damage and it was not reset.
So maybe it's
So
like a visual
I
or like a display bug.
maybe, but we really couldn't find anything, and
Yeah,
we were in contact with the person who opened the ticket. So if whoever they are can respond back with
Yeah.
more details, so we can find specific thing. But functionality wise, it was not there. Nothing was being reset. The damage was as supposed to be.
Okay.
yeah.
So
Please
yeah,
let us know which tower, which level you're seeing that in. If you can, send video for our QA department to reproduce it. And if there's something, we'll it's not supposed to work that way, right? So it's
yeah,
either
guys. So document
reception
video,
thing or
screenshot.
yeah.
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 Okay, cool. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys taking the time, and I know, like I said, we're closing on an hour here, so I'm sure there will be more stuff that'll probably pop up in Discord. But I do feel like in general we've touched on like all of the big overreaching issues that people kept bringing to my attention. So hopefully we've been able to appease some people, or at least get some get some information out there for the people that wanted some responses. And again, I appreciate you guys coming on, and maybe we'll touch base in like another month or so, just see how things are going.
We appreciate it and appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Awesome.